Hi everyone, this is Dr. Liz Campbell from Campbell Psychological Services in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. And today we're going to continue with our tips for coping with COVID-19 for kids and families. And today we're going to talk a bit about homeschooling, or what we're all calling homeschooling, to really refer to trying to educate our kids while everybody is at home. So we have 5 tips today that are going to talk about trying to minimize some of the stress that you might be experiencing around this. And I hope they're helpful to you. So our first tip is to step back and do an assessment on what the expectations are. So before we even start trying to homeschool, let's figure out if it's something you really need to be doing. Because if it's causing stress for your family, this sort of expectation that you're supposed to be educating your kids while you're all at home together, but it's not really something you have to do, then I want you to just let go of it for now. In Cumberland County, where we're located, a lot of schools are still sending home suggested activities, things that are for enrichment and review, but they're not required, they're not being graded, and it's not going to be the end of the world if they don't get done. So if that's the case for you, just take those expectations, set them aside, worry about it later. Our second tip is also around assessment, and that is figuring out if you are required to or wanting to do some educational activities for your child, what's realistic. So if you're a parent who is trying to work from home right now, when can you actually get things done? How much is realistic to expect of yourself and of your child? And what's the best time? So is it better for you to do a little bit in the morning before your workday starts, or to take an hour at lunchtime, or wait until the end of your workday and focus on the school stuff then? But what is realistic for your schedule? And kind of planning that ahead. The third tip, also still around this whole assessment piece, which is what does your child need and what's going to work best for your child? So if you have a teenager, they might be pretty self-sufficient when it comes to the schoolwork and not require a lot of oversight and support from you. If they're younger, obviously they're going to need a little more help. And what works best for your child? Do they work best to just sit down and plow through all of that work at once, even if it takes an hour or two? Or is your child going to do better if you can break it up into chunks? So maybe 15 minutes here, do something else, another 15 minutes, do something else, another 15 minutes. What time of day is going to be best for your child? All of those things vary from kid to kid. And so we need to treat our children as individuals. So once you get past those 3 things that are all sort of around assessing your situation, the 4th tip is to use some sort of motivation for your child, especially if they are not really gung-ho about sitting down and doing schoolwork at home, which a lot of kids, no surprise, are not excited about. The easiest way to do this is to use the classic if-then technique. So if you get your schoolwork done, then you get to do this other thing that you want to do, whether it is hopping on screens or getting to go outside and play with the dog, I don't know, whatever your kid loves to do. But you make the work come first, and then they get to do the thing they really enjoy. And if you can stick to that and not kind of backslide and let them do that fun thing anyway, even though the schoolwork didn't get done, if you can stick to it, they will be more likely to cooperate and do what they need to do. And the last tip is giving your child some choice, particularly if you are still in a situation where there are not required assignments. So if your teachers have been sending home suggested activities, compile a list and let your kid choose what they want to do for the day. There's a ton of options. And it can be everything from bake something for home ec to doing some online math games to reading something and writing a little bit about it, whatever, you know, the options are for your school situation. But if you let your child choose the things that they enjoy and want to do, they're going to be more likely to cooperate. And it's all in the spirit of learning. Again, if they're not being graded, if it's not needing to be turned into a homework assignment, let them pick what they want to do. And one of the kind of silver linings in this is that you might learn some things you didn't know about your child in terms of what motivates them, what interests them, what they get excited about. And that's a good thing. So I hope these 5 suggestions for minimizing the stress of homeschooling are helpful to you. And we look forward to bringing you more suggestions in the days to come. Until then, be well.